Hey, it's Nicu here, and welcome to another video on this channel. And today's video, or actually we will have two parts video on this tutorial. Into part one, we will learn how to create this layout with images scattered along a grid, and we will have created the parallax effect with the help of a few packages. We'll have this footer that will reveal behind the main content. And for the part two, I will teach you how to create this reveal effect of each item from the gallery with the help of the intersection observer API from the browser. Our grid will consist of 50 rows and 50 columns, and we will render 5 elements, and then we will duplicate 4 more times those elements to full our grid. This scroll area will be rendered with the use of Locomotive scroll. We are here just for the smooth scrolling with parallax effects. We don't need the element in viewport, and we will have the footer revealed when we almost scroll to the end. We'll have a component called navbar.tsx, and or actually let's move it in a folder, navbar, and we will call it index. As well, we will have a style for it, and let's just render navbar. As well, we will need a component for footer and a component for a gallery item. And inside of footer, we will have as well actually here's a small mistake. It's just sex, the style SSS, and index.jsx. For the footer, for the footer we'll need a style SSS file. Let's RFC. Let's replace with footer. And for the gallery item, index.jsx, and style.sss file. And let's create the functional component rfx. Let's remove and gallery item. And inside of our main component we will render the navbar. As well, we will have some more elements. This will be the class name, main container, and inside of it we will have a scroll element for our Locomotive scroll plugin. So a scroll container, and inside of it we will have a div with a class name of content, and a div with class name of the gallery. Near gallery here we'll have the footer, and inside of the gallery we'll have few HTML as well. One is for the text that goes behind the images. So class name of behind text with a fill, and it will be everybody loves a good story. And we need the text that will be on the left side, which is gallery helper. So we scroll to discover more. Now let's render the images. So we have a set of image data. I have five photos from Unsplash, and then we will create an array of arrays, so 5 arrays, and then for each array or for each photo from the array, we'll have the points on the grid. Yeah. So the first value is what row it starts, then how many rows it spans, and then the third point will be for the column it starts and for how many columns it spans. Images equals to image data, and we will map through them. We get the let's call it tuple, an index, and we will render something in return. We'll actually render we will again iterate through the tuple, so tuples map, since this will be the actual array, and we will get the URL and the element index, and then we will return the gallery item. We will render the images here, give it a class name to the gallery item, and then inside of it we'll have another element with a class name of gallery item image, and inside of it we'll have another element, and this time we'll have a class name of gallery item image inner, and we will pass the source of the image as a CSS prop. So background image, which is an URL, and here we have the source, and then we will get the source here, the index, background. Yeah. Coming back to pages here, we don't need this return. Let's wrap it in like this. Yeah. Here we will pass it to this component, the source, which is the URL. We will pass the a key here, since it's an array. So let's actually move it forward. Key, which is an URL, and we will pass it as well the index in the current array, so element index. As well, we will pass the column offset. Each set of images will be translated with 14 columns. So column offset will be equal to the current index times 14. Yeah. Let's save, and coming back to gallery item, we need to receive the column offset in our CSS folder. Here we'll do some style to the main container, so a padding right of 500 pixels. We need for the revealing footer, we need it to be a box sizing, and for the gallery we'll make it to be grid, and then we will repeat 50 columns, and each of them to be 2%, and agree template of rows, repeat 50 as well 2%. We'll make it to be around 25's viewport width, so it's 2.5 viewports. We'll need a padding left 12 viewport width. We'll need the height to be 100%. We'll need to have a position relative. Let's align the items to be centered in the grid cell, and let's give it a background color of white. Cool. Let's style the content. It's gonna be a flex box with a height of 100 viewport height. Let's center it on both, and let's have a position relative. Let's style the behind text. So we will have here gallery helper, and we will place it on the 43th row. It will span 2 columns and 1 column, and let's give it a font size of 20 pixels as well for the behind text. We'll give it a position up. So we want to center it in the middle of the grid. Let's give it a top of 50%, left of 50%, translate -50, -50. Let's make it uppercase. Let's give it a font size of 12 ems and the font weight of 500, as well as letter spacing of 50 pixels, and we have 2 modifiers, which is a color RGBA of 000, so it's almost somewhere transparent. And for the outline we have a Z index of 2 and a mix blend of overlay. Let's see if we import. And coming back to the grid itself, we have this for now. Where is the grid? Why would I have a grid here? Did I forgot to add the grid? Oh, gallery. Look. Oh, wait. We need to bring the gallery images inside the gallery. Jesus. Yeah, so now we have this grid. Let's import first the style and the gallery item. It will have a Z index of 1 and a height of 100%. And for the gallery item image, we'll have the width of 100%, the height of 100%, the overflow to be hidden, the position to be relative, and then for the gallery item, oh, it was there, image inner, yeah, image inner, we'll have a background size to be cover, background position to be center. We will transform the origin to be center left. We need to be fully to take the full size of the parent container, and we'll change transform maybe, and transform have a scale, and let's transition transform Bezier to 0.77 to 0 to 175 and 1. We got something, but not what we really wanted, since we didn't place the elements on the grid. To do this, we go back to the gallery item, and we will need to pass some inline style to the gallery item. So we have the style, and the way we place the element in the grid is through the grid area. First of all, we will need to take the coordinates from points. So for example, const, and it will be a points of index, and values. And let's just say if we don't have values, let's return null. Otherwise, we have the first value is the row, column, span row, and span column, and values. And here we will have a string literal with row, and then we will have the column plus column offset. Then we will span the row, span the span row, and then span the span column. We are getting close. Also, for now we got this layout. We need now to insert into our project the Locomotive scroll. So we'll install, and we need to import it. So import Locomotive scroll from Locomotive scroll. As well, we will need to import the style. So it is in the node modules. Locomotive scroll source. Locomotive scroll and that CSS, and we need to initiate the scroll. For this we will need a reference. So here in the index we have const ref, which is a use ref from React. We initiate it with null, and we pass it to the scroll container. And on mount we use the effect on mount. We check if we have a ref, then we initiate a new Locomotive scroll, and the element is gonna be the ref.current. We want to be smooth, yeah. Well, yeah, looking into the documentation, we basically want a very basic configuration. We want to have a smooth scroll. We want to have a horizontal scroll. So where it is vertical, yeah, here. Direction, it by default is vertical. We need to set it to horizontal. So direction is horizontal, and as well we need to say to the library which element is the scroll container. So data scroll container, yeah, defines the scroll container, so it's required for basic styling. Yeah, so we have this scroll container, so we pass it as an attribute container, and back to our project. We have already this. We have a nice layout with images spanned across the grid. We have the behind text, and we are left to build the footer, the header, and to animate each, or actually to play with the scroll value, or the scroll speed of each element on this grid. And this is pretty easy with Locomotive scroll. Looking into documentation, we can see that to say to the package that, look, we want to adjust the scroll speed of this element, is to add some attributes, yeah, to the element, to the DOM elements. And this is first one of them is data scroll. So to any element we want to adjust the speed, we would pass data scroll attribute. So data scroll here and here, as well is to pass data scroll speed. Pass it a -1 and here a -1. Yeah, we get the text kind of having this parallax effect going on. We need now to adjust the speed of each element. We'll need to pass the data scroll attribute and data scroll. Come on, what is on scroll? Scroll. And the data scroll speed. And here I just came up with a very easy formula. So scroll get scroll index. It's a function here. Scroll index. And what it's making is for index equals to 1 or index equals to 4, let's make them to go to have a negative scroll. For index equal to 0 or index equal to 3, we will have the 0, and for 2 we'll return 1. And let's come back and see. Yeah, so yeah, now we have this nice scroll parallax effect going on our project. It's super easy with Locomotive scroll. And next, what we are gonna do is to create the footer and the navigation. We'll have this dump data for the footer with some addresses. Let's add a class name and again another element contact addresses, and inside of it we'll have we'll map through each address. We'll get the info, and then we will return an element with the key info.town. Let's close, and inside of it we have an h1 with info.town, and inside we have a div. Just basic construction. Below we'll have two paragraphs with info.phone and another paragraph with info.email. And inside of this middle div we will actually splice the strings to the commas. So info address not split to the comma, and let's map element and we'll return a paragraph with the key of element, and inside of it we'll have the element itself. Footer with a height 100%, a width of 100 viewports, We have for the background this, and a z index of -1 to have that effect of popping behind our gallery. And let's display a grid and place items in the center. And for the contact addresses, we'll say them that let's give them half of parent. Let's display a grid as well. Need template column, repeat 3 1. We have 3 columns. Gap of 10%, color white, and for the H1s we have the font family of Oswald, which is a sans serif. Font size 36 pixels. We'll make them uppercase. Font weight bold. Margin bottom with 30 pixels. Letter spacing 2 pixels. And for the paragraph, margin of 10 pixels on top and bottom. Oh, actually on top and left. Let's see. Yeah, cool. And now we need to, when we reach this position, actually we need kind of to have this reveal effect where the footer actually goes or appears from behind the gallery. And to do this, it's again pretty easy with the Locomotive scroll. We go back to the footer component and we add 2 things to our DOM element, which is data scroll and a data scroll speed v -7. Let's refresh. Yeah, cool. That's nice. And to complete this part 1, let's create the header of, or actually the navbar. Here should be the logo and UL and the that's 6 actually, so it will be services, culture, team, blog, and contact. Navbar, it will be a width 100%. Make it flex. Justify content space between to move the logo on the left and the menu on the right. Let's give it a padding of 50 pixels. A border box sizing. Border box. Let's put it on top of everything. Position fixed. We'll give it a mixed blend for the text to blend well on the white background and colored background, so difference. Color white. And for the UL and lists, we have here a display flex and a margin of 0 and 15 pixels on the left and right. And let's import this style CSS. We now got the header as well, and with the help of mix blend we get this nice blend effect on the text, yeah, for the logo as well. And that's for the part 1 of this series, and in the next part we will explore on how to create a cool effect for each of the image when it enters the viewport.